This is 72 Daystar, and I'm talking about delusions today. Karl Jaspers, one of the fathers of modern psychology, gave a go at defining it, and it's not without its critics, but anyways, it's a good starting point. It was an incorrect or impossible belief that's held with strong conviction, and what was the other? Oh, and it resists any evidence to the contrary. So the first thing that came to mind after I read that was, well, how do you distinguish religious beliefs from what would be normally be defined as a pathological delusion? Well, it's kind of difficult, but one writer suggested that it was the unfalsifiability of religious beliefs that made them distinctly different. So, a lot of atheists on the internet, sometimes they can be kind of rude and disrespectful when they're engaging theists and Christians and Muslims and so forth. And I kind of wanted to caution people who tend to do that for a couple of reasons. One, we all have delusions of some sort. Maybe not the pathological delusions that I described, that Karl Jaspers is describing, but we do have beliefs that aren't really justified by the evidence. One of them, the tendency that humans have, is to believe that they are good people, despite all the evidence to the contrary. So when we do something that's wrong, if we lie, cheat, steal, and so forth, we always have a good rationale for that. And so it always looks at worst ethically gray when we do it. But when others do it, it's much easier to take a moral stand and kind of connect the dots to the moral implications that has for the character for people that do that. So, keeping that in mind, also another caution is there is some evidence that when you engage people in a very confrontational manner, when you engage believers, that is, it just tends to strengthen their faith, at least in the short term. In the long term, I'm not so sure. I'd like to see another study on that. So, when you see someone, we all do it, but it's especially egregious when it's someone who you observe again and again lying, acting in a selfish way, and apparently oblivious to it. In fact, everything they say seems to suggest that they believe they have a cut above. Their moral character is a cut above the rest. Don't go around again, dog problems. I think everyone knows someone like that, and everyone's been aggravated by people like that. So, wouldn't you find it gratifying if someone close to them, maybe they're a parent or someone of authority, a boss or someone, confronted them about it and sat them down and said, hey, you think you're a moral superstar here, but really let's look at what you do and how that affects people. And maybe, hopefully, that person might have the opportunity to reform themselves, to reflect and correct behaviors that were causing harm. I think most people would agree that that would be a good thing. Yet, if the belief, very similar belief, but if it's a religious belief, suddenly we seem to lose the will to confront people about that. I wonder why. I really wonder why. Some people have said to me, well, when it's a religious belief, it's not very likely to succeed. I'm not sure it's any more likely or less likely to succeed than in the other case, if someone's pride's on the line. Really, the only thing that distinguishes the religious belief from a delusion is that it's held by groups of people. And I don't know, I'd just like to know more about why there is that difference. Why people in the first case would be actually happy to see someone like that, someone who doesn't know their own shit stinks. To see them confront it would be great. But a religious believer, people are like, oh no, back away from that. In fact, we might even want to treat that with respect, show respect for all religions. I've heard that mooted recently, and I kind of railed against that too. Anyways, what are your thoughts on this? Anyways, 72 Day Star. Later.